DevOps engineering questions before heading into an actual interview. You could either look online for sample questions or think of scenarios related to past experiences which could be relevant when answering questions. By doing this, you'll be able to confidently answer any question thrown at you during the actual job interview. Ask questions during the interview. At some point in most interviews there will usually be an opportunity where employers expect potential candidates to ask their own questions. Therefore, it is important that you come prepared with some thoughtful inquiries regarding aspects such as company culture, role expectations, and future goals, etc., so that when given the opportunity, you can express genuine interest within the organization and stand out from other potential candidates. This will not only show employers how serious and engaged you are on wanting this particular role, but also give them insight into whether or not they should consider hiring you. Be prepared for technical questions. Technical proficiency is key when interviewing for a DevOps engineering position. Therefore, it is expected from applicants to come prepared with technical knowledge related specifically to their role. Be sure that before going into an actual job interview, you have reviewed various coding languages such as Java, Python, and Golang, etc., alongside other technologies utilized by DevOps engineers such as Kubernetes or Docker containers, etc. Additionally, make sure that if applicable, you have hands-on experience working with these technologies, which can then be discussed if asked during an actual job interview. Relax and focus on your performance. Finally, remember not to stress too much, since no amount of preparation can guarantee success, at least in terms of interviews. Additionally, try engaging in active listening, i.e. pay attention and respond appropriately, whilst making sure all answers are kept concise yet informative enough so as employers get a better understanding into who they may potentially hire. All in all, just relax and let your personality shine through. Good luck. Preparing for a DevOps engineer job interview can be a daunting task, particularly for those with little experience in the field. However, with some preparation and practice, you can increase your chances of success and show potential employers your best side. This guide provides tips on what to expect in a DevOps engineer job interview and offers advice on how to make the most of the situation. When preparing for a DevOps engineer job interview, it's important to have an understanding of what DevOps is and how it relates to software engineering. This is especially true if this is your first opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge of this field. It's also important to be aware of the various technologies involved in DevOps, such as scripting, automation, virtualization, and containerization. When attending a job interview for a DevOps engineer position, it's important to do adequate research on the company beforehand. This will help you customize your resume and answers to match the needs of that particular employer. Additionally, you should review any relevant documentation provided by the company, such as their product roadmap or past project milestones. This will give you an idea of what type of projects they are working on and how they are approaching them from a technical standpoint. During an actual job interview for a DevOps engineer position, it's important to be able to articulate both practical and theoretical aspects of the role. You may be asked questions about specific technologies related to DevOps, such as Docker or Kubernetes, software engineering fundamentals, such as database design, or general IT concepts, such as configuration management. Be prepared to explain complex topics clearly and concisely while also demonstrating enthusiasm for problem-solving tasks associated with this role. It's also important that you emphasize any relevant experience you have in terms of developing systems or applications using automation tools or scripting languages such as Python or Ruby. Furthermore, if you have any experience working in an agile development setting, where frequent releases are deployed, this is something that employers may find particularly attractive when interviewing potential candidates for this role. It's advisable that you focus more on demonstrating hands-on technical skills during your job interview rather than providing generic answers about abstract IT concepts, such as cloud computing. Having tangible examples from prior work experiences that showcase how well you understand these technologies will likely result in more positive responses from employers during your interview process. Finally, it's essential that you demonstrate good communication skills during your job interview, since DevOps engineers must often interact with other members of their team, such as developers, operations personnel, or even end users, in order to correctly implement solutions for their organization's needs. Good interpersonal skills are just as important as having technical knowledge when it comes to being successful at this type of role, so make sure you show off these traits throughout the duration of your interviews. Overall, Preparing properly for a DevOps engineer job interview can greatly improve your chances at landing that position, so take some time beforehand to get familiar with these concepts and hone your presentation skills while showing enthusiasm throughout the process. Welcome to the DevOps Engineer Job Interview Preparation Guide. As a DevOps engineer, you will be responsible for developing, deploying, and supporting a variety of web applications and services. Your role requires a strong knowledge of both development and operations engineering, so it is important to prepare for your job interview. This guide will help you get ready for a successful job interview as a DevOps engineer. We'll look at tips for researching the company and the job position, preparing your portfolio and resume, and practicing common interview questions. Let's get started. Researching the company and job position. Before you go into an interview, it is important to do some research on the company and position you are applying for. You should know what they do, what their goals are, what their values are, who their clients are, and any other information you can find out about them. This will help you make sure that the company is a good fit for you. You should also read up on the specific responsibilities of the DevOps engineer role that you are applying for, so that you are prepared to answer any questions related to it during the interview. Preparing your portfolio and resume. You should prepare your portfolio with examples of projects that showcase your skills as a DevOps engineer. These could include previous web applications or services that you have developed or supported in some way. Make sure to include any certifications or qualifications that may be relevant to the job position as well. Finally, create an updated resume with all of your relevant experiences as they relate to DevOps engineering. This resume should be tailored specifically to each job opening so that it stands out from other applicants. Practicing common interview questions. Now it's time to practice answering common questions related to DevOps engineering during interviews. Examples include: what have been some of your biggest accomplishments as a DevOps engineer? How did you go about deploying a web application? What processes do you use when troubleshooting an issue? Describe how you would plan out a new project from start to finish. How familiar are you with technologies such as Kubernetes or Docker? What methods do you use for monitoring applications? Take some time before your interview to think through potential answers for these types of questions so that you can give clear responses when asked them during an actual job interview. Final thoughts. We hope this guide has been helpful in preparing for your upcoming DevOps engineer job interview. Remember to research the company thoroughly before attending your interview so that you can answer any questions related to its values or mission statement confidently during the conversation. At the same time, make sure to practice answering common technical questions related to DevOps engineering beforehand so that you can demonstrate your knowledge and experience in this field clearly during your meeting with potential employers. Good luck! Preparing for a DevOps engineer job interview can be an intimidating process, but with the proper guidance and knowledge, you can ensure that you make the best impression possible. With employers expecting more from DevOps engineers than ever before, it is important to understand what to expect and how to prepare for an upcoming interview. First, do your research. Learn as much about the company as you can, what products or services they provide, their client base, and their technology stack. By understanding the company culture and goals, you will be able to provide relevant examples of your experience during the interview. Additionally, familiarize yourself with the industry trends in order to demonstrate your knowledge of current technologies. Second, develop a list of questions and answers prior to the interview based on your research. You should also prepare to discuss specific examples of your experience that relate directly to the job duties outlined in the position description. Focus on discussing accomplishments that have resulted in positive outcomes for the organization or team that you have worked with in prior positions. Be sure to present these accomplishments in a clear and concise manner while also emphasizing your technical skill set and problem-solving capabilities. Third, practice makes perfect. Schedule time prior to your interview to practice answering common DevOps engineer questions with a friend or family member. Use this time to review topics such as cloud computing, automation techniques, containerization technologies such as Docker and Kubernetes, configuration management tools like Chef and Puppet, source control methods like Git and Subversion, scripting languages such as Python and Bash, etc., continuous integration and delivery pipelines using Jenkins, etc., monitoring tools like Nagios and Zabbix, and many more related topics relevant for DevOps roles. By practicing beforehand, you will be more confident during the actual interview process as well as better prepared to answer any questions about these topics that may arise during the conversation. Fourthly, dress professionally for your interview. Dress code varies by organization, but typically business casual is appropriate for most interviews unless otherwise specified by the employer. Additionally, make sure you have all of the appropriate documents ready, such as copies of resume/CV, copies of references/recommendations letters if available, etc. You may also want to bring along a portfolio or project samples if applicable, so that you can discuss them during the interview session if necessary. Finally, arrive early. Arriving early not only demonstrates punctuality but gives you some extra time beforehand for one last review over any preparation material or documents that were listed earlier in this guide before taking part in your DevOps engineer job interview. By following this preparation guide and arming yourself with industry knowledge ahead of time, you will have everything needed for a successful DevOps engineer job interview. Good luck!